Alexis said just now was basically saying that the Patriot Act goes into people's lives without court warrants, without the reasonable search and seizure protocols, and goes into people's lives without telling people and just invades our civil liberties. However, that is not true, and that's not part of the Patriot Act at all. People have misconceptions about the Patriot Act. All it does is modernize existing laws. There are many misconceptions about what the Act actually does. Simply put, it modernizes existing law enforcement tools and practices that exist before the Act was passed in 2001. It makes it more difficult for terrorists to stay a step ahead of the law by switching cell phones or email accounts. It provisions free investigators to stop plots in the earliest stages, decreasing the likelihood that a plan would mature and become unstoppable. It also outlines methods for handling intelligence and investigations in areas that laws do not adequately provide, such as cyberspace and cell phone communication. And this is according to the Heritage Foundation. So within the Patriot Act itself, there have to be court orders. You have to be able to go to the court. It's called FISA, F-I-S-A. And the federal government and the FBI have to go to this court in order to get court orders before they're able to switch cell phones, to check the cell phone carriers of people. They have to go there before doing any search and seizure. And before this court, they have to prove everything that they want. Prove that this person is indeed a terrorist and doing suspicious actions. The Patriot Act was already reauthorized and was given more, and within the reauthorization, it was given more oversight and safeguards that made it even safer for American citizens. Section 215 of the U.S. Patriot Act allows for the FBI to apply to FISA court to issue orders granting the government access to any tangible items in foreign intelligence, international terrorism, and clandestine intelligent cases. The USA Patriot Act Involvement and Reauthorization Act of 2005 significantly expanded the safeguards against potential abuse of Section 215 authority, including the additional congressional oversight, application requirements, and judicial review. So already our government has gone in and reauthorized it, and when it reauthorized it, went through and put in more safeguards. My opponents, what they're talking about is the original Patriot Act. However, this is not the status quo. The status quo right now is that the Patriot Act has already been moved and changed, and minor repairs have been made to make it more applicable and safer, with more safeguards for the citizens of America. And the Patriot Act does not intrude more than already existing laws do. For example, there's a thing called pen trap orders, and it's basically the idea of trying to get information, but through passing through and not actually going into people's information. And so to obtain from a cell phone company the numbers dialed to and from a particular telephone, officers must get a pen trap order from a judge. So the information they're getting isn't actually reading people's emails, but simply who people are corresponding to. So it's not like they're not going through and reading every single word of an email you sent to your mother. They don't care about what you're sending to your mother. What they're doing is they're looking at who known terrorists are communicating with, and through that they're able to find more information. And it's not like they can do that to anyone they want either. They have to go before a judge and get a pen trap order, and then follow through with a process, with keeping the judge up to date with what's happening, telling the judge they switch cell phones, they switch email accounts, and having to prove that this is the actual person that has switched email accounts before going through and going through everyone's personal information. So the whole argument that the law enforcement and intelligence officers of our nation are going through our emails, are going through our phone records, listening to our phone calls, doing wiretaps just because they can, and that the Patriot Act has given these law enforcement officers the ability to do whatever they want without any oversight. It's just simply not true. There's congressional oversight, there's judicial oversight, and there's a lot more eyes on this process than there were ever before in our intelligence agency. And I think the most important thing to remember throughout all of this is that the Patriot Act is vital to stopping terrorist attacks. According to the Civil Rights Foundation, the 3 amendments, which have been extensively modified over the years by Congress, now include significant new safeguards, including substantial court oversight, are vital to success. Not only that, but there have been over 60 Islamic-related terrorist attacks, plots that have been foiled before they were even a part of, even any of American citizens were even at risk. And as I said earlier, it requires a court order. Again, this is not from the previous evidence was from the Heritage Foundation. This is from the Civil Rights Foundation, and writing that Section 215 requires a court order, and this is the section that we're really arguing today, is Section 215. And we have to get court order, which is the exact same as we have for law enforcement. So there's no actually invasion of civil liberties like we already have. And the safeguards are protect our citizens. Terrorist plots have been foiled by law enforcement and intelligence. There's been over 60, as I said earlier, Islamic-inspired terrorist plots against the homeland since 9/11, and this is according to the Heritage Foundation. And 53 of these plots were thwarted long before the public was endangered, due in large part to the concerted efforts of the U.S. law enforcement and intelligence. And the Patriot Act, as I said earlier, is needed to prevent terrorist attacks, according to the intelligence office of the government. And it says that the chairman of Judiciary Committee, Lamar Smith, the intelligence and law enforcement committees are responsible for preventing terrorist attacks. Need to know the tools they rely on in keeping America safe will not be weakened or allowed to expire. We need the Patriot Act to prevent attacks and apprehend terrorists. This short-term extension is a step, talking about the previous extension. The short-term extension is a step towards a long-term reauthorization of important and necessary national security provisions. It gives Congress, and the three provisions that are set to expire are 206, 215, and 6001, which are the ones we're debating today. And as I said earlier, these are important for saving lives. And it is people who aren't alive can't have civil liberties. People who are dead, who are in the World Trade Center, went down, they don't have civil liberties to protect anymore. And the idea of having a dirty bomb going into a major U.S. city, the idea of having another marathon bomb or another World Trade Center collapse, the idea of having someone be able to look through seeing who you're contacting via email, not reading your emails, not listening to your phone calls, but simply knowing who you talk to is not an issue of civil liberties.